thanks so much for joining us. This is how manufacturers can maximize the benefits of automation with AI, and we are so glad that you have chosen to join us today. Just to introduce who you're going to hear from here, obviously the voice you're hearing right now belongs to the face on the right. I am David Gibb. I am the US marketing lead. If you're part of our email newsletters, you might have seen that name before, so officially putting a face to it. I'm going to be doing some light hosting during this session, mostly just throwing to other people. I'll have a couple of poll questions for you at various points to make it a little more interactive for the crowd. And then also I will be monitoring the Q&A section while others are speaking. So if you have a question that comes up during the presentation, just go ahead and use that Zoom Q&A function to push it to me. And if there's a relevant time to talk about it, I'll interject it. Or if it doesn't seem like something that's going to come up naturally, we'll hold it till the end when we'll do a little question roundup. So let me introduce the rest of the speakers from left to right. All the way left, we have Principal Danny Aznani. He's really going to give you the kind of large picture vision and talk about the business case for AI automation. We've got CTO Vivek Ahuja. He's going to talk about implementation. His expertise is really bringing that vision to life. And then we're going to talk with Tulasi Yamala. He is our chatbot and AI practice lead. He is really sort of the coordinator of the boots on the ground when it comes to executing this technology. So that's who is going to be presenting. Just to provide a quick roadmap for you, we have three thematic focus areas that we'll be covering in the webinar. Number one, we'll be discussing how AI drives ROI, particularly in the manufacturing space, particularly now. We're going to talk about how you can get on the fast track to measurable benefits, accelerating that path to ROI. So how can you get there as quickly as possible? We'll go over that. And then finally, we'll also talk about our individualized approach. So what that really is, it's a balance. Each one of our AI solutions is tailored for the specific customer, but at the same time, they're built using accelerators of pre-built assets. So that means get to market fast, but with something that's personalized for you. So without any further ado, I'm about to hand off to Danny and let him start telling you a little story here. But first, I have a quick question to you that I'm going to push using the poll tool. So you should be able to see the poll question. So we're just trying to gauge your existing knowledge level with AI process automation. And AI process automation means a lot in the manufacturing space, but what we're specifically talking about is not the production floor. So not a robot arm welding a car, not an assembly line process, but things like customer service automation, mobile workforce reporting automation, accounts payable automation, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll give you guys another few seconds to vote in the poll if you haven't already. How much do you feel like you already know about AI process automation in the office, warehouse, and field? Just 10 more seconds here. Votes are coming in, very exciting. Going to give everybody just a couple more seconds, and then we'll see the results together. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the poll here. Last call. Alrighty. So we have a range of experiences here. Some people consider themselves true experts. Some people say they're comfortable, but they'd like to be an expert. And others feel like they know the basics and they'd like to learn more. So I think that we should have something for everybody represented here. So without any further ado, I am going to hand off to Danny. And he is going to tell you a story about someone who maybe is a little bit like you.
All right, thanks a lot, David. And we've got the election fever going there with the polls, so that's great. So good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Really want to welcome everyone to today's webinar where, as David mentioned, we want to talk about automation and automation specifically in the manufacturing space. So today we have a little bit of a journey about Frank. And Frank is a CIO at Stark Industries. And we're going to walk you through his kind of role, his day-to-day, the things that he comes across, and really some of the challenges that he faces as an executive and how he's looking to deliver value within Stark Industries. So as with any CIO, and Frank's been in this role for a little over a year and starting to get comfortable at Stark Industries and starting to understand the lay of the land. But of course, as part of this role, he's been hit hard with understanding how to accommodate a remote workforce. That's been top of his mind since the beginning of the year, of literally shifting close to 1,000 people to be working in a remote capacity. So he's been helping with security setup and virtual setup and networking, and making sure that his team can still do, and all the departments within Stark Industries can still operate in a remote capacity. And then, as with any CIO and most people in this role, he's dealing with budget constraints. He's trying to figure out what to do and how to do more with less, and how to get leaner with the team, as well as the resources that he has available, but still deliver at the value and the level that he's expected to. And last, there is that he's also experienced and taken on quite a bit of technical debt. He's starting to realize that there have been more and more monolithic applications that he's acquired, legacy applications with respect to his ERP, his CRM, other backend applications that process orders, that process inventory, manage inventory, where he's trying to understand what to do with all these as he's taken on this role and starting to understand what to do and how to better optimize and better rationalize those investments. So those are some of his day-to-day challenges. And then he comes across and meets with the CSO, Anne, right? He has a virtual cup of coffee with Anne, and Anne brings to him some other problems in the organization from a sales and revenue standpoint. And so she explains to him that the competition is slowly starting to chip away at Stark Industries and slowly starting to gain more and more market share. And she also explains to him that over the course of the past year and a half, they're starting to slowly see a decline in the customer satisfaction rating, as well as customer retention. And sure enough, that's leading to a year-over-year decline in revenue. And they sit down and they're trying to understand what are the issues, what's happening here, and how can we use technology as an enabler to really start to change the direction and start to look more as an innovator in the world of Stark Industries, and really how they can innovate and be able to provide that level of value to their customers. And so Anne has asked Frank to really drive results in 90 days. She wants to see something where he can implement a solution or implement a suite of solutions and build a platform for them to really be known as an innovator in this space, to be able to provide that level of value to their customers, and provide that ability to engage with their customers in a way where Stark Industries never has in the past. So as with any CIO, what he does, right? Frank goes back and he reflects on his virtual meeting with Anne, and he starts to reflect on what are the things that Frank can do to really turn ship here and turn the direction and really make an impact in 90 days. And so he contemplates and he goes back, and the first thing that really rings in his head that Anne mentioned during this meeting is that that 30% of carts, when they're created, are going abandoned. And so people are creating these carts. Customers are either going on mobile or phone or web. They're creating these great carts of things that they want to purchase or that they have a wish list to purchase, but either they're not purchasing them, they're trashing those carts, or within time they expire. So he wants to understand, what's going on there from an analytics standpoint. The other couple of things that he does is he does some research, right? He goes out to Gartner and he sees that more and more organizations, and one of the predictions that Gartner is putting out there is that by 2022, more and more people want to engage with conversational like platforms. And that could be a reason where he thinks that where we're losing to competition, when he looks and does some competitive analysis where the competition is providing the ability to provide this engaging way to customers. 24/7, they're providing either digital web bots, chat bots over mobile, voice bots, so people can engage in a very bi-directional way with their consumers. And the last there, the point that really strikes him, going back to some of his challenges, is that he's seen that chatbots can really make a difference in terms of reducing that year-over-year spend and the burden that it takes on customer service teams supporting environments where they have to respond to all sorts of requests, whether it be returns, card requests, product information, information on their orders, tracking of orders. So he's seeing that organizations are really benefiting, and some people are even seeing anywhere between 30 to 50% of a reduction in customer service costs by leveraging a platform to empower their organization around digital bots and digital assistants. So as part of that, he starts to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And he starts to really see that if I can really take a lot of these inputs and my investigation and my analysis of what I've heard in the market, in the industry, I can really make a difference here and really make an impact at Stark Industries. So similar to the folks on today's call, he attends the webinar. And he learns about the AI accelerators and our implementation approach of how we help organizations specifically around accelerating and implementation around digital assistants. And we'll talk a little bit about that today in today's webinar as well. And so he performs this fit gap analysis where he says, okay, these are some potential use cases that I'm thinking about that I think can provide immense value in a very quick fashion, to look at kind of what they have as part of their suite of accelerators that they've built over the years. And they start to align that to how it would work specifically for Frank. And within 4 weeks, they're able to deploy a pilot for Frank, and he sees immediate benefits where he's really changing the course of how Stark Industries is engaging with their customers. And within 90 days, he's able to go back and they're starting to see a return on the investments that they've made with a very small pilot. And he goes back to Anne, and we'll talk a little bit about this journey where he's been able to provide immense value back to Anne and her organization around providing that value. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Vivek to talk a little bit about this journey in some more detail.
Thanks so much, Danny, for giving us that perspective on Frank's journey so far. Now, a little bit explaining on the process now Frank will take to be able to accomplish this pilot that Danny described, and the challenge that he has to accomplish in this 4-week time period. So he needs an approach and accomplish the pilot, right? So we'll dive a little bit deeper on what that pilot would look like. So he assembles a team on his side, he gets things rolling and really gets into this pilot development process. So here we have highlighted the 4-week process, the journey that Frank and his team takes on a week-by-week analysis, the approach of predefined activities to accomplish that set goal. So starting with week 1, where Frank and his team sits down, focuses on that fit gap collaboration session that Danny talked about. And here Frank describes the goals and objectives for pilot. Here he wants to describe the challenges that he had discovered after his discussion with Anne and his investigation that he performed on some of those things that he would like to accomplish. And based on that analysis, brings the list of accelerators that are applicable to those needs and requirements. So let me take a look, give you some perspective of what those accelerators are. So here's a list of accelerators, and it's highlighted here by the categories. Three main service categories, primarily more on these customer service, FAQs, and internal. Now these categories are built basically a sample or a subset AI accelerators for automation industry. right? On the left side, we are showing what are those channels where this AI and digital assistant capability can be consumed. So channel really is a way of consuming this technology for end user perspective in a way of text, voice, using web, SMS, social media, IVR, Google, and Alexa, right? Then on the right hand side, we're looking at some of the key functionalities and most common ones like order tracking, fulfillment and delivery, supplies and delivery, and the warranty thing. So Frank basically tries to pick some of these things and would like to be able to hit upon what makes more sense for him. And then we follow by FAQs and then some of the internal ones of crew safety and crew maintenance and the training and the HR use cases. So this is kind of like a catalog of offerings that he looks at and he says, based on this analysis, I think so the ones that makes really more sense are these ones, where he picks and the ones that he would like to be able to make as part of the proof of concept or the pilot is the text channel and the SMS channel. And then on the use cases side is the order tracking, fulfillment, and delivery. And on the FAQ side, he would like to pick all because he doesn't want his team to spend the time and the customer care executive on the FAQs things that can be available through a bot, or those are already available on the website, but just making it available in dialogue fashion so that the customer care team is not spending time in answering those predefined answers. So that's the essence of what he would like to accomplish in these accelerators. Now these accelerators really help. So what is accelerators, right? Accelerators are basically pre-built templates for some of the dialogue flows with some specific use cases, but they're really designed in a way that they're extensible and can be customized and personalized for Frank and his team needs based on the fit gap analysis that we will be doing. So that's just definition of what those accelerators are. And now, I mean, he goes through the journey once he identifies what those accelerators from a fit gap perspective is solidified. He moves on the journey with adding the personalization by adding the persona, because it's a stark in industries. He would like to carry the theme of introducing Jarvis into the mix. Jarvis as the personality of the digital assistant as a bot, and would like to make some more customizations. He would like to capture customer sentiment and also want to capture customers' feedback. Does this bot help them not? So those are the customizations he wanted to capture. And he also, that was in the week 2. And the week 3, he would like to integrate with his Oracle Service Cloud system, which is part of the Oracle CX system. It's a customer care system in the back end that customer care representatives are currently doing to answer those questions and also for live chat agent. Then once all of these key ingredients are done, the last step the last week is to connect this to the Start website and to make it available to the end user to consume. So let's take a look of how did that process in the demo of how it came about in this process. So what we will do a demo here to be able to take a look at how the actual POC or the pilot that we have built on the use cases that we just saw on Stark's website. It's a 2-part demo where first we will show the web user perspective of how the end user coming to Stark website would be able to interact with chatbot and get some of the answers on the use cases we saw. Then later, Tulasi will demo the SMS capabilities as well. So that's the other channel where the customers can interact with. So there are 2 basic channels, right? As we saw earlier, it was the web channel, which I'm going to show you now, and we will pass it to Tulsi, who will show the SMS capabilities. So I'll switch over to my website or web here to be able to say what this looks like. So here is the Stark Industries web page or a home page. And on the right side, you can see where Stark Industries, website here, and then we have added the chatbot icon here. Here, by clicking on this, we are invoking the Jarvis, and Jarvis now comes back on and basically allows the user to now interact with the chatbot. So it's a very intuitive, there's a menu here for providing some of the guiding capabilities for end user to do it. Now here I can start using follow the guidance from here, or I can start typing through it. If I say the word order here, so as you see here, right, I have put the word order. But the key point here to notice is that I did not tell what I want to do with the order. So AI, Jarvis, is really trying to understand the intent of what my ask is. So that's where the capability of automation or AI you can see here, where if I can be more specific, it can help me with that. But if I'm not, Jarvis really wants to know, okay, you've typed order, but what do you really want to do? Do you want to find your order? Do you want to return your order? Do you want to cancel your order? So I'm going to tell that I want to cancel my order. So then it takes me the process of cancellation and allowing me to log into my account. I say I don't want to log into my account right this now. Just take me through it. So I can now I have the option of getting my order number or my phone number. So I'll put my phone number that is associated with my account when I place the order. So Jarvis automatically found out that, I have 2 orders associated with this phone number, right? So he said, which one do you want to be able to look at? So first he wants to validate additional validation there by asking my postcode. So I'm going to give my postcode. Now it provides me those 2 orders that it found that are associated with my phone number. And I would like to cancel my second order. So I selected the second one, and then, it's asking another validation. Is this really me? To provide that last 4 digits of the card where the order was placed. So I'm going to enter the last 4 digits, and then it's okay. It needs some more confirmation. So Jarvis really want to make sure that we are not doing this by mistake. So we say yes. Now, basically, it took care of that refund order in this experience. Versus if I would have to do it in a normal scenario without Jarvis, I would have to call somebody, or I would have to wait in line and wait for the customer care executive to come up and be able to walk through my process. Here I can do it at any time, 24/7, right? Where versus in the customer care system where it's only available those through business hours. And from Frank's perspective, he can provide this experience to his end users 24/7 as well at their leisure, and really taken out that bottleneck of customer care to answer some of these things. So the second use case I want to show is now I want to be more specific with the use case, right? I want to be more specific to Jarvis. This is exactly what I want to do. So I want to say is hi. So Jarvis brings back that order, right? I want to say I want to track my order. So now instead of putting order, I said, where is my order, right? Now Jarvis knows exactly what I'm asking, what he needs to do. So the confidence engine behind Jarvis is there's a scoring in it. As long as the scoring goes 70%, Jarvis knows exactly what I need. He presents me the option. If it's less than 70%, Jarvis needs to know what the intent is. And that's what he tries to bring those options to really find out what the user is trying to do. So here, the confidence engine went over. So that's why he knows exactly, and I'm going to follow through the process of tracking my order. So manage my order, then I'm going to say when manage without logging, I still want to do no login. But this time I want to give my order number that's specific that I want to track instead of my phone number. So here I'm going to give my order number. Okay, so Jarvis went ahead and found that there's a delivery that's going to be made to me, but it's delayed. And it will be now delivered on September 24th by 8 p.m. Okay, so I know that my order got delayed, but I will be able to get this. So this information is coming from the backend logistical system, which is connected to Oracle ERP, right? So for Frank's perspective, to give this information where somebody calls in the customer care, where they look it up and then they put on hold, and then they check 5 other systems to get this information, where the information is there and we're consuming this information in an easy dialogue fashion, right? That's the power of this digital assistant, that it's looking too easy, but it's getting that information from those backend monolithic systems in an easy fashion here. So this is what we typically call a high ease, high power solution, where you're providing the capability to the user, the end user, in an easy fashion, a dialogue flow fashion, but with the high power, right? It can connect not only to this customer care billing system, it can integrate with many other systems as Frank would like to take on this pilot, be able to with other systems. So, and again, the another thing I would like to highlight is with this Jarvis sits on what we call natural language processing, which really makes the engine understand the end user in a conversation manner and transfer it to the intent process, what's trying to ask, and get the information back from those backend systems. And that kind of like really the foundation from an enterprise system that it's providing from Frank's perspective, from an end user, from a business user to its users there. So now that wraps the website of the demo. And now I will pass it over to Tulsi, who will show the capabilities on the SMS side of the house, and how the user on the mobile or SMS can interact with the same system and now go to the live chat agent process. Tulsi?
Thank you, Vivek. Hey, everyone. I'm trying to bring up my screen.
Sure. So while Tulasi is getting set up here to show the SMS demo, I'm actually going to push you folks a second poll question here. So just based on what Vivek has demonstrated, we are trying to gauge how is your organization currently using customer service chatbots? So something akin to what Vivek just demonstrated. Are you not using them at all? Do you maybe have a live chat widget that maybe greets people with an AI interface, but then hands them off to a human agent? Are you not using them whatsoever? Do you use them for account management, etc.? So please take a look at that poll and let us know, how are you already using chatbot customer service? I'll give folks just a couple more seconds. Already last call on that poll. Alrighty, so those who voted said that they're already using chatbot for customer service extensively. So that's very, very interesting. And we'll see if we can illustrate some new and exciting use cases that maybe you don't already know about here. So thanks so much. I will hand off to Tulasi for the demo.
Thank you, David. I'm trying to bring up my mobile screen here. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I think I'll try to pick up where Vivek left. So we built all these use cases, and but various customers will have requirements to have them at various channels. So we covered the web channel. Now I'm going to cover the SMS channel here. But in the UI on the backend side, it is the same skill, but we are enabling these various channels for customers to interact with Jarvis. Many a times, customers would prefer, some would prefer to go on a website and do, or somebody would like to do it on the go, where they would just want to quickly text and finish their work. Now anybody would come and they'll have this registered mobile. They will initiate the chat and they'll get this standard menu. This is the same menu that we saw on the web with the customers. And now I'll be doing like find product. If a customer wants to just find about a product that he saw a while ago, now he's in the move, he would like to know more details about that. And sorry. Something, this happens on the demo. Let me try to do it once again. It's not the response I was looking for.
So while Tulsi is bringing this up, Basically, the goal is for this side of the house and to be able to show out how the user on their SMS are trying to communicate with the customer care executive. And we have integrated this with Oracle Service Cloud Live Chat Agent feature, where for particular scenarios, when customer would really like to interact with a live chat agent, they can. But it allows it's not allowing every transaction to go to like live chat agent, which was the case before, which makes Frank's team smarter enough and capable to handle more calls or the interactions or chats more that they really need to focus on, and let bot handle all the other ones that can be answered in an easy fashion. Tulsi, pass it to you.
Thank you, Vivek. Yeah, as we saw here, it is the bot is coming up with the same options as you see on the web. So like somebody, we are coming here, I try to do my find status and it gives me the same options, login or manage without login, and I can provide this. But at this point, if I see that no, I don't want to interact with Jarvis, but I would like to talk to a live agent whom I would like to get some more details about my order. If I'm not happy, it would immediately send the request to the live agent part, so which I'm sharing on my screen here, where, let me minimize this screen, sorry. Now this is my backend live agent service cloud interaction that we are integrated with, where customers will be addressed with their questions. So people are, whenever a request comes, the live agent can pick the request, and the live chat will accept the chat. And as you see, the response comes pretty quickly for the customer. Hi, my name is Zoeb Khan. Zoeb Khan is one of the rep from Frank's team, and he would start interacting with the customer. So now customer would say, hi, I would like to know where is my order. And he would get it. And by now, even the agent would have known the complete chat history of the customer, what he had tried to interact with Jarvis so far, and he gets the full context of the chat with the intent that he is coming in, and he can quickly respond back. I can help you with this, and I would need some more details, on something on those terms. So this will help the Frank's team for helping the customers more in an active fashion in real time, and they can close the conversation pretty quickly, instead of going, if somebody tries to call them over IVR and if they have to go through all the menu options, we can skip all those and we can reduce the amount of time a customer has to spend. Definitely the CSAT point of what Danny was trying to cover in the initial slides, this will be improved a lot when we try to close the customer's requests or the issues that they have or the requests that they have. Those can be addressed pretty quickly with these integrations. And as we saw in both scenarios, the backend skill is same, and just the channels we enabled with various channels. And with this, we achieved Frank was able to do all, we were able to enable all of these for Frank within 4 weeks. Create these use cases on a skill, create all those intents, utterances that we would feel those would be the right ones that we would expect from customer, integrate it with the backend service cloud or any product, and then we have it enabled on both the channels at a time. And in continuation, we can enable the same skill for a voice-based channel as well, like be it Alexa, Google, or Siri, any of those. And on all those SDKs we have as part of our accelerators. So this is how it will be seamless, no matter which channel we come through for the interactions. But in the back end, it's all the same skill that is answering. And this will get build as we go, as we continue, I would say, with more interactions from the customers. And I think in the next slide, we will be covering the backend architecture, how we make this possible and so easy.
Thanks, Tulsi, for covering the demo. So that wraps the demo. Based on the demo that you just saw from Tulsi, this basically represents, it provides the under the hood perspective, right? Here you can see how the backend applications like customer care systems, Oracle Service Cloud, ERP are connected. And the information is flowing to the users in the chatbot medium through website, right? That's the idea of what we saw Jarvis is trying to enable. Would like to highlight that this is a scalable architecture. It's not just only, to Tulasi's point, it's not only for web and SMS. This architecture is scalable and adaptable to other things that comes along for Frank when he takes on the automation in general, right? And he can build upon this by adding more and more systems, by adding more and more channels to be able to expand that customer transformation journey that he took on. And this is basically built on microservices approach. So he built the integration and he has those integrations available and be able to expand that omni-channel experience, right? Where we just saw that Jarvis is able to talk to one customer in a website and similar other customer through SMS, and maybe later is mobile, maybe there is other RPA and other ones as well, right? So it gives that ability to Jarvis to talk to customers in any channel with using the same integration that we have over and over, using the same skills. Another key point to notice, this is a cloud-based approach, right? It's a cloud-based solution. So Frank doesn't have to go spend time and procuring or managing and servers and their dev and test process and patching on those. It's fully cloud-based. That allows Frank to, spin up these environment in a pretty agile fashion, right? That makes things easier and faster and brings that agility that he's trying to have in his organization. And one more point I would like to make in the end from architecture perspective is there's a refinement aspect of this, right? The analytics of how the user adoption is happening and the tweaks that needs to be happening, because it's AI, right? It needs, as it goes to the more number of iterations, more number of processes and more data it gets, AI learns on its own. It refines, it perfects. So it's a continuous journey, and that Frank can give a refined experience, a better experience every time, every iteration of how the bot retrains itself based on the scenarios that it encounters. So this really gives him an opportunity now to go back to hand with this foundation that he was able to accomplish in 4 weeks to empower the journey from a transformation perspective. Now I would like to pass it on to Danny, who can help. What are the other things that Frank can take on after he finishes this? Danny?
Yeah, thanks, Vivek and Tulsi. That was a great demo. And so as Vivek mentioned, we want to talk a little bit about this ongoing journey with Frank, and also going back to the ability to deliver a solution in 4 weeks and actually see a return within 90 days. And we'll talk a little bit about the ROI of what Frank was able to gain from this investment. So just some use cases, right? And you saw the architecture and the demos that Vivek and Tulasi walked us through. And now that Frank has this architecture in place within Stark Industries, the world is his oyster, right? He can only just go from here and build additional use cases and really take that to the next level, right? He's just at the tip of the iceberg, but there's so much more that now he can do. For instance, having his internal team engage with vendors, or vendors engaging with Stark Industries for reordering of supplies or managing their entire supply chain. A lot of that could be streamlined through the benefits of a digital assistant, virtual assistant platform. Assistance with lead generation, assistance with internal service, IT service help desk, and being able to answer questions about basic questions about IT needs or questions that people have within their organization around IT service requests, placing orders, creating quotes, onboarding partners, onboarding employees, This could also serve as an internal HR assistant for people to answer questions about how much vacation time do they have left. If they need to get their tax-related forms, specific questions around anything that they need to engage with their HR. This platform could serve as that initial tier 1 or tier 2 to answer a lot of those questions. So again, the architecture and some of the pieces that Frank is invested in now can only allow him to do more and grow this, to take that to the next level and allow for more automation within the architecture and within Stark Industries. So specifically coming to the return for what he was able to do, going back to Ann and saying that I can deliver something within 90 days. Very quickly, he's been able to start to see a change with how he's engaging with customers, how Stark Industries is engaging with their customer base, with their distribution channel, with their partner channel as well. They're already starting to see a 25% increase in quotes being auto-generated by the bot. And the bot's able to answer those questions, those cart abandonments that Ann brought to him, saying that, we see close to 30% of carts being abandoned. He's already starting to see 50% of that reduced, where people are now getting the clarifications answered. They're getting the things that they need answered very quickly to be able to make intelligent decisions and then actually purchase and make the purchase right there because of that digital assistant and the capabilities of that digital assistant to provide it on web as well as over these other channels like SMS that you saw. We're starting to see customer service costs go down, where people that had to work around the clock and support the call centers and help desk, that's starting to go down, where he's starting to see that I don't need such a taxing or a burden on the customer service department because my bot can answer a lot of those initial questions and really help engage and route customers to the right answers at the right time and all the time, pretty much. CSAT scores are starting to go up, and that's starting to also change the revenue and the projections of where they're looking. So they're starting to now take things back into their control. They're taking back market share, and they're really starting to see results. So at the end of the day, Frank is happy, right? He is, these were some of the concerns that he initially had. And now we've slowly started to checkbox a lot of the things here where, he's able to manage and support the remote workforce. He's slowly starting to reduce the burden on the customer service team. So he's starting to see how he's managing the budget better. He's slowly starting to chip away at the technical debt with the architecture that Vivek talked about. And some of the things specifically that Ann brought to him, he's able to now go back and schedule another, virtual cup of coffee with Ann and say, look, I've addressed, how we're meeting the fierce competition that's slowly starting to take away market share. I'm starting to see an increase in CSAT. I'm starting to see how we're retaining customers and engaging with them. These new customers and the new ways they want to engage with us, we're slowly starting to react to that and be proactive how we're working with them in a very, very easy, agile fashion. And that revenue is slowly starting to turn into the positive for them. So he's a happy guy. And we want you to be like Frank. And you saw a lot of the great things that through this journey of what we walked you through, from where he was in challenges to what he did in a 4-week time frame to some of the things that he saw in terms of a return on investment within 90 days. So really, we've boiled it down to 3 easy steps. The first step is start to assess where you're seeing areas of automation, where you're starting to see use cases that are aligned to your enterprise, to your organization, where you can start to say, okay, let me start with something small. Let me start with maybe some use cases, these handful of use cases, and let me start to ask questions within my departments, within my other peers on the leadership side, and let me start to really understand where I can start to plug automation in within my enterprise. So really take a reflection back, take it back, and start to ask those questions and start to do that investigating that Frank did. Once you do that, we strongly recommend to schedule a discovery assessment where in a very quick way we can show a lot of these accelerators that we talked about, the expertise, the capabilities that we have built over the years in the manufacturing space, and really start to align how that fits within your organization, where that fit gap that we talked about, we really start to understand what makes sense in a crawl, walk, run approach. Once we build that, and once we say, okay, this is the blueprint of what I want to achieve within this pilot or within this proof of concept, then let's start to attach what are those achievable return on investment metrics. And our goal is that we are committed to showing a return on investment in less than 90 days. We've proven it out for folks like Frank, and we're hoping to do that for you as well. So thanks for joining, and I'll pass it back to David. Thank you. David, I think you're talking on mute.
Oh my goodness, I am the worst. Thank you so much for the reminder there, Danny. So thanks for presenting all that. Really appreciate it. I'm going to issue a quick last call on Q&A. If you have a question for the panel, please submit that using the Q&A tool here in Zoom. I also have a final poll question for everybody, which I am going to push right now. So based on everything that we just went over, could you see yourself going on a journey like Frank's? Do you think that embracing conversational AI to realize these gains is something that could work for you? So do you think it's something you'd like to prioritize as soon as possible? Something maybe you're thinking is sort of a medium term, maybe in the next year, 2021? Are you intrigued, but you just can't see a timeline for it? Or you're just totally not interested? Let us know how you're thinking and feeling. I'll leave the poll open for a couple more seconds. This is also a great opportunity for you to submit any of those Q&A questions that you've been holding this time. Give folks just a few seconds to answer this. All righty, going to close the poll in just a couple seconds. Last call, last call. Alrighty, going to close that out. So it seems like people here are seeing the path forward. That's really, really exciting. We're hoping that you can be like Frank, and we would definitely like to help get you there. So just to recap where we've been during this presentation, we went over how AI drives ROI, what are the opportunities, especially in manufacturing. We talked about the fast track to success, how we can get you a pilot in a matter of weeks and show ROI by 90 days. And we talked about approach, that blend of pre-built accelerators and tailored customer-centric functionality. So we've got about 10 minutes left on this bridge. We do have time to answer some questions. If folks have them, just please feel free to use that Q&A tool. I have a couple that came through over email while we were planning this webinar, just a couple questions that folks had when they saw the topic. So I can toss those out there. So Tulasi discussed consistency across channels at one point. Let's talk about channels. So we talked about website and we talked about SMS. What are some of the other channels this solution can be implemented on, and what does that look like exactly?
Sure, David. I think as I was also mentioning while I was talking, we can enable it on multiple channels, be it like voice-based. That's being more popular these days. We are hearing a lot of requests from our customers, like they would like to enable it on Alexa or Google and even Siri. Those are the three prime contenders that we are getting, apart from web and SMS, where they would like to interact. Customers now, everybody, I think in the current situation, people are at home and they don't want to, even sometimes they don't want to text, they just want to talk. So they activate their virtual assistant at home, and they can do several transactions. They can perform a lot of transactions with that. It's not just the asking for few details. They can go for enabling, like if they want to enroll for emails for coming through, or if they want to pay their bills, if they want to find out what was their last bill, and if they can also ask, for instance, I'm talking about utility here, but when just if they want to know what was their consumption last year at the same day, they can do that. These are some basic questions in day-to-day. You're up, you want to know some things. You don't have to log on. You don't have to open your mobile or your web. You just want to, hey Alexa, I'd like to know what was my usage last year this time. So boom, you have your answer there. Similarly with manufacturing also, if they want to just say, Alexa, I'd like to know where my order is. Is it being delivered today? I thought it is. Then they'll have their answer. They don't have to open or touch anything to get to their answer. So yeah.
Fantastic. That's really exciting. Thanks for answering that. Vivek, I've got one for you before we wrap up. You said during week 3 for Frank that would involve integration with backend apps. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? Like, what are some of those backend apps that you guys have experience connecting to, and what does that process look like?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, David, for asking that question. Yeah, it's a very good question. So in this pilot that we built, or Frank wanted to build, he wanted to connect his ERP and Oracle Service Cloud from a tracking delivery perspective, and also from customer care perspective as well. And also, Oracle Service Cloud provides that. But Frank knows that if he wants to embark on this journey, he really want to have that approach. So basically, it allows him to be able to expose the data from those monolithic or those backend systems. In this case, it was ERP, which was not able to extend, but now it was API enabled, right? And really want to be able to build once that integration and leverage that for every other channel. So the process entailed consuming those APIs available from those backend systems. And again, to Tulasi's point earlier, we built this one skill, and now we can expand that to any other channel as well. But the integration approach was built on microservices, which allow which allows Frank team to be able to expand it to other systems in the same approach, and we will be able to consume that in like a service catalog fashion. So that would entail, and we really be able to do that in a week's process, because the APIs were exposed from an API management platform. Thank you.
That's a great timeline, Vivek. Thanks for your answer. Thanks so much. So it doesn't look like we have any attendee questions. That's fine though, because if any pop into your head, it's definitely not too late to ask them. So this is the end of our webinar, our presentation for this session, but that doesn't mean this has to be the end of the conversation about what Frank did or how to be like Frank. If you have any questions about what you saw today, you can definitely explore our website. Or if you'd like to talk more with Danny or Vivek or Tulasi or another relevant expert, you can just reach out to me. I'm david.gibb. You should have that email address in your records from all the emails that I've sent you promoting this webinar, so that should be easy to find. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I will connect you with the appropriate person. But once again, thanks so much to everybody for joining us for this session. Thanks so much to Danny, to Vivek, to Tulasi for their great presentations. And we're really looking forward to continuing this dialogue and helping people to get on Frank's path to AI automation ROI.